January close stats are in for San Jose real estate market. Were my predictions correct? Well, stay tuned. Hi, I'm Teresa Wellman with HomeownerExperience.com, your local San Jose, California realtor. Today we're digging into the market stats, the first month close for 2021. So let's see if my predictions actually are showing up in the real data. So were my predictions correct? Yes, indeed they were. I told you the market was hot and it was heating up, and look at these prices. They are already up. And that's very unusual to see in January. We typically don't see that until February because those are houses that sold in January and closed in February typically start to increase in value again. But these are sales that were made in December, closing in January, actually increased in price already. So pretty amazing. And will that trend continue? I do believe so. So let's dig into it a little bit more. We have very low inventory. If you look at this yellow line here, we are below what you would typically see for this time of year. There's been a couple instances we were about this low last year, a year ago. Similar market as far as inventory goes. And so I do expect strong appreciation ahead for the next few months. So here's a quick snapshot of the market. We're up 1% from December closed sale prices and up 11% year over year. And if we look at the number of sales are really strong. Yes, they were down from the previous month, but that's very seasonal. But if we look year over year, they're actually up 34%. So this is what I'm saying is the market is just really hot right now. So we've had very strong winter sales. Inventory was lower in January 2020 and had good sales, but January 2021, if you look at these red circles, we had extremely strong sales for this time of year. Typically, you're seeing in the middle of this red circle is a white space. And if you look at just these past few months, it's not white. It is full green. We've had a lot of sales happening. Increased prices are because of that, really strong demand and very low inventory. Inventory is down 17% year over year. So that is, it popped up quite a bit in January of 2020, and we haven't quite seen that in 2021 yet. So we have very strong momentum. History says it's going to be a big spring price increase, and I have some more data a little bit later on if you stick around to show you another thing that's supporting that. But I'm experiencing out there with buyers today anywhere from 8 to 10 plus offers. There's been a couple instances of over 20, even one with 41 offers. So today's market is definitely a seller's market. We only have 18 days of inventory. The pending sales are slightly down, and so the inventory is up 18% from December, but as said in the previous slide, it is actually down 17% year over year. There's been a lot of competition, and the prices sure show that. 105.1% is the amount that people are paying for properties compared list price to sales price. So definitely the market needs inventory. There's currently 63% of single family homes in contract in the market, slightly down from the month before, but again, seasonal, I expect that, and there's just not much inventory out there. The 17-year average is 41% of homes in contract, and the last 5 years is 50, and we're at 63% with January data. That's just really, really high and very active. So now what about the condo market? Let's go into that a little bit, and then we'll go into interest rates and some of the market fundamentals. So the condo market has a little bit different feel. It's a 42 days of inventory, which is not bad. It's definitely still considered a mild seller's market, but it feels a lot slower than the single family market. So depending on your price point, you might want to consider condos and townhomes because you're going to have a lot more leverage and negotiating power in that area. Now, the January sales are stronger and higher than typical, and highest we've had since January of 2007. That's a very long time ago, 14-year high for the number of sales. So I do think the condo market is awakening as well, especially if you've got a condo with a private entrance. It's also those first-time home buyers are jumping into the market with those properties. So inventory is a little high for the season, but not enough to really slow the market down. Now, interest rates, extremely low. I have on the right there some reference. 1980, about 18.5%. 2001, we were at 6.5% when I bought my first house. And in 2008, it was about 6%. We are down to 2.75-ish range range. That is just unheard of. This is a chart of the last 5 years, and you can see we've never been that low. We got kind of close to that back in 2016, but then it increased and now has been dropping even more. That's really fueling this buyer demand, because even though our prices are high in this area, it is much more affordable now with those interest rates. Now, here's the nugget that I referenced earlier, where another indication that the market is really going to appreciate. This is the S&P 500 versus the average Santa Clara County home price, which I've tracked several times. And if you've watched these videos before, you know the yellow bubbles are areas where there was a difference in how those two numbers responded. Typically, they track each other pretty well. But what I want to point out is look at the numbers again here. They're going completely opposite directions. The average price has dipped for the season in the single family home market, but the stock market hasn't done that. And so that is really going to fuel our spring market again to sharply increase and appreciate. Now, unemployment has popped back up. This is December numbers, and we went into a stay-at-home order again in December, so that is to be expected, but that order has now been released, and people are getting back to work. So that's great news there as well. So watch next. For buyers, consider my home buying process overview. Really gives you a visual of all the steps to go through to buy a house. And sellers, how to sell your home fast. That's a great video as well.